There's a comforting lie we all tell ourselves. That manipulation only happens to the naive, the gullible, the people who should have known better. We picture the victim as someone less aware than us, less educated, less sharp, but the data tells a different story. And it's not the one you'd expect. Because some of the easiest people to deceive are the ones who are absolutely certain they can't be. This is the story of how intelligence, the very thing meant to protect you, quietly becomes the door a manipulator walks through. We like to believe the mind is a fortress. The smarter you are, the thicker the walls. But a manipulator doesn't attack the walls. He walks up to the front gate, and he asks you to open it. And the smarter you are, the better your reasons for saying yes. Here's the uncomfortable truth psychologists have been circling for decades. Intelligence doesn't make you immune to deception. It makes you better at defending it, after you've already been fooled. Let's talk about the myth first. Because the myth is where the danger begins. Ask most people who gets manipulated, and they'll describe someone weak, someone insecure, someone who can't think for themselves. So what does a smart person do with that belief? They relax. They assume their intelligence is a shield. And the moment you believe you can't be fooled, you stop watching for it. That's not a small mistake. That's the whole game. To understand how this works, meet Alex. Alex is the person everyone calls the smart one. Reads constantly, wins every debate, solves problems other people give up on. Alex isn't arrogant, just confident. Quietly, completely confident in one thing, that he can read people. And then Alex met Ryan. Ryan wasn't loud. He wasn't pushy. That's the first thing to understand about real manipulation. It rarely looks like manipulation. Ryan was warm, curious. He asked Alex questions no one else bothered to ask. He listened like every word mattered. And Alex, who spent his whole life being the smartest person in the room, finally felt seen. That feeling, being understood, is the most powerful entry point there is. The first red flag came early. They always do. Ryan asked Alex for a favor. Small but strange. A little money, a little trust, a story that didn't quite add up. Something in Alex flickered, a quiet instinct. This doesn't feel right. And here's where the intelligent mind does something a simpler mind never would. It explains the feeling away.
Wait, why do you need it through me?
Because you're the only one I actually trust.
Right, okay.
Did you catch it? The doubt was there. For half a second, Alex saw the truth. And then his own intelligence buried it. This is the part nobody talks about. Why do smart people rationalize red flags instead of acting on them? Because intelligence is, at its core, the ability to build explanations. Give a brilliant mind a confusing situation, and it won't sit in the discomfort. It will solve it. It will find a reason. A story that makes everything fit. A less analytical person feels something is wrong and simply leaves. The smart person stays and constructs a beautiful, airtight argument for why staying makes sense. The gut says run. The intellect says, let me think about this. And thinking is exactly what the manipulator is counting on. Psychologists have a name for the trap underneath all of this. They call it the bias blind spot. It's the tendency to see manipulation, bias, and deception clearly in everyone, except yourself. And the research holds something almost cruel. The higher a person scores on intelligence, the stronger their blind spot can become. Because smart people are so used to being right, that being wrong becomes almost unthinkable. And what you cannot imagine, you cannot defend against. This is the intelligence trap. Your competence in one arena convinces you you're competent in all of them, including reading the person sitting right across from you. So how does the manipulator actually use all of this? He doesn't fight your intelligence. He recruits it. He plants a doubt and lets your own mind grow it into certainty. He drops a hint and lets you build the conclusion yourself. And here's the genius of it. People defend their own conclusions far harder than anything they're simply told. So Ryan never had to convince Alex of anything. He just guided Alex into convincing himself.
You always figure things out. What do you think is really going on?
I think it actually makes sense.
See? That's why I trust your judgment.
And just like that, the trap closes, with Alex holding the key, believing it was his idea all along. But there's always someone on the outside, someone close enough to care, far enough to see. For Alex, that was Emma. Emma wasn't smarter than Alex. She'd be the first to say so. But she wasn't inside it. And distance is its own kind of clarity. She noticed the small things. How Alex defended Ryan a little too quickly. How every concern she raised got met with a clever explanation instead of an honest answer.
He always needs something from you. Have you noticed that?
You don't understand the situation.
Or maybe you understand it too well to see it.
That line landed somewhere Alex couldn't reach. Because for the first time, he didn't have a clever response. The turning point rarely arrives as a single dramatic moment. It arrives as a crack. For Alex, it was a small inconsistency, a detail in one of Ryan's stories that didn't match a detail from another. A simpler person might have missed it. But Alex's mind, the same mind that had been building excuses for months, was also built to spot patterns. And once it turned that power inward, it couldn't stop. One inconsistency became two. Two became a chain. And the airtight story he'd defended so carefully began to come apart in his hands. Here's the cruel symmetry of it. The intelligence that got Alex into this is the same intelligence that finally got him out. The difference wasn't how smart he was. It was where he aimed it. For months, he'd pointed all that analytical power outward, at the world, at the situation, at everyone questioning him. The moment he turned it on his own reasoning, the spell broke.
I knew. Back at the very start, I think I knew.
You did. You just argued yourself out of it.
And that is the whole tragedy in a single sentence. He didn't lack the warning. He outthought it. So what's the lesson hiding inside Alex's story? It's this. Intelligence is not the same as wisdom. Intelligence asks, how can I explain this? Wisdom asks, why am I working so hard to explain this away? The first instinct that something is wrong, that quiet flicker before the reasoning kicks in, is often the most honest signal you'll ever get. Manipulators don't fear your logic. Your logic can be reasoned with, negotiated with, turned against you. What they fear is the instinct you feel before you start thinking. So here is the real protection. Not being smarter, not analyzing harder. It's humility. The willingness to say the sentence the intelligent mind hates most. Maybe I'm the one being fooled right now. The people hardest to manipulate aren't the ones who believe they can't be. They're the ones who know they can, and stay awake because of it. The unguarded gate isn't ignorance. It's certainty. Think back over your own life for a moment. A relationship you defended longer than you should have. A deal that felt wrong before it ever went wrong. A person everyone warned you about, and the clever reasons you found to keep them close. Did you not see it? Or did you see it perfectly and talk yourself out of it? One brilliant argument at a time. Because the most dangerous lie isn't the one a stranger tells you. It's the one you're smart enough to tell yourself. And the sharper your mind, the more convincing it sounds.